Good. Oh, she went.
Right.
Hi, everyone. Hi, we good?
So, it's going.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're up.
Yes.
It's live.
Okay, welcome everybody. We have Sara Cate in the house.
Hi, everyone.
We're so excited. Okay, let's see. Everybody's excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here. Oh, I can
Going a little slow.
Hi, Monica.
Sharing it. Ooh.
Oh, she go out again? Oh my gosh.
Uh-oh.
Fine.
Well, happy Friday, everybody.
Yes.
Start out like, oh, she's coming back quick. I was like,
It's always when you're hosting, things start to go.
I know. We have a great time. See, she's on the move. It's great.
Y'all, hold on.
It's okay.
Everyone's still just saying hi. What's everyone reading right now?
Huh?
What I'm vamping for you till you find another place. That's what's happening.
Okay, go ahead. So do your thing.
What's everyone reading today? Are you reading historicals for the historical readathon, or are you reading one of Sarah's books right now, trying to cram it in before the interview was tonight? What's everybody reading? I'm finally reading another Rena Kent. So fingers crossed that this one works.
Ooh.
Because everybody begs me to read them, and I'm like, y'all, I've read quite a few. You haven't been paying attention, but I'll try another one.
I'm excited. I just read Fuck Roses because I was like, Sarah's got some free books. I'm going to read this. And I loved that. Fun Stevie novella. Okay.
That's a short one. I legit forgot that was mine. I was like, oh, that sounds familiar.
I love that. Mm-hmm.
Can you see me? Am I good?
Yes.
Just had to run across my house.
And it's not live.
So why don't we start and let's just like talk about what our favorite book is by Sarah. You want to do that?
Sweet.
Okay, I'll go first.
Yes.
I think Gravity. I'm still a diehard Alistair fan. He's amazing. I love him until the day that I die. Now, Nash, I struggled with him, and I know you and I, Tiffany, we talked about this, but I really did love him, even in Gravity, which I know he has like his redemption book, but I don't know, Alistair, he's like Daddy Emerson too, so I think that's why I like him so much.
Yeah.
Well, Zaddy.
Yeah.
Zaddy.
If it makes you feel any better, I struggled with Nash a lot too. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that.
I could see how he would be like a very specific character to write, like how you would struggle through that.
He's infamously one of my most like difficult characters ever, and then recently followed up by Garrett, which I think took the throne for most difficult characters to write. So
yeah, people were very polarized about him.
Yeah,
which is always like, I feel like that's always a good thing. It's a good discussion.
But I love your author's note. I love your author's note about how Garrett just took over the whole writing process. And I really appreciated your representation of depression. Because I've had like dysthymia, so that like low grade where he's still functional, he can still suit up and show up and like participate in this lifeline, which is the Salicious Players Club. Like he needs that, but I just loved it. I felt seen. I was like, she gets it. So I really appreciated that. I loved that author's note.
So my favorite book is probably still Burn for me, but Praise is real damn close. Not gonna lie, like someday I'll change my mind. But I just thought it was a really unique story. I hadn't read one quite like that with an older woman kind of choosing to be blackmailed. That's how I always explain it to my people. Is I was like, he's causing trouble, but she really kind of lets him do it based on guilt. And I like that. I don't know. I like that because it was really unique to me. And she kind of lets him work out a lot of his frustrations in some interesting ways. So I'm here for it. But yeah, but I'm totally into the Salicious Players Club though. It's fantastic. I'm most excited for books yet to come, even I think. Like for me, like I have a pretty good feeling about both of the next two as well. So I'm pretty excited about those.
Well, the next one, doesn't it come
Excited to
soon?
hear it. I'm excited to hear your.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Did I see that was coming? What, 5 months? Not 5 months. 5 weeks is the next book.
I think so. I
It's
think
so
so.
fast.
It is very fast. It's June 16th is the next one, and August is the fourth one. So
Oh wow,
they are very
Wow.
fast. Yeah.
you're spoiling us.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
see?
think-
And people
We need
still
more, we need-
are like, I don't want to wait. I was like, do you realize you're getting this entire series within a calendar year? Like, just calm your tits, okay? Like, you can make it. Like,
Yeah.
anyway, I'm a holdover from the fantasy genre, and I'm used to waiting years for books. So indie published books are like fast crack in the best ways for me. Like, seriously.
I'm relatively new to your books, but Praise is my favorite. So I know Cheyenne was like shouting about this book and telling all of us to read it. So I loved it. I love a good age gap. So I was obsessed with this book, especially The Single Dad.
Yeah.
So good.
I love how they're all related around a specific kink too. I think that's my favorite, one of my favorite parts about it, because there's some that I'm like, I really wasn't even sure that was a kink, but I like it. Like,
Me
that's
too.
interesting.
I like how they all feel like my favorites definitely burn for me. I just love the vitriol between them. I just love how like she is just at the sight of all of his anger and willing to be so. That's also what I liked about Gravity with Nash. She was like getting something from that. I love that. And my favorite thing about all of your books is like they don't feel taboo, right? Like it should have felt taboo with Garrett, but it just felt right between them, and that's what I like. Like it doesn't feel like it should be forbidden. In fact, the fact that it's being called forbidden seems almost like wrong. That's what I love about your books.
Right.
So
Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be Gush Fest all night.
Yeah. Well, they're great. Because being a channel that recommends a lot of like dark or taboo romances, people are always like, where can I start? Which I always kind of laugh because I'm like, some of the first taboo books I read were literally the darkest ones out there. Like The Wild was one of my first taboo books that I read. So I was like, jump in. But I feel like this is a good place to right. I was like, wow, I could have started at a bit of a safer place. But anyway, and so I like these kind of books where I'm like, if you'd like to see a darker tone, like try this, where it's basically only taboo because of relationship wise, not because there's anything really like overly uncomfortable happening. I don't know. That's because people want to test out things, and I'm like, here, okay, try this. See if it's testing it out for you. So that's a good place to be.
That's good. I think I don't consider my books very dark, and I kind of get that a lot. And people are like, well, they're a little bit. I'm like, I don't think taboo needs to be. I think some of my favorite taboo books are almost like, if you've ever read End Scene by Nikki James, which is a twincest, it's actually like one of the cutest books I've ever read. It's funny and it's light, and it's I think proves that like not all taboo books need to be super dark, and they can actually be, fun and funny. And although not all of mine obviously are, but kind of Praise is a little bit on the light side, I'd say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
More funny moments than
I like snorted out my nose when the first meeting scene. I was like, especially when he's like, "Oh my God, stand up!" I'm so sorry. So great, this is so great that I was sold. I was like, immediately, I was like, Tiffany, you're making it. That's what I do.
And she's
when
like, I'm like, stay here.
She's like, read this. I'm like, click.
Yeah, that's how I
have jumped out of books to jump into what she's telling me about. So I was like, okay, I'm eating this up. I have to read Praise.
But that is the. I mean, I say that all the time. Not all taboo books are dark, and not all dark books are taboo. There's plenty of books that are dark that there's nothing taboo about their relationship.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll just gush the whole night, Cheyenne, if you don't know.
I know. I was gonna say, I do have some questions that people have submitted to ask you. So you want to start with those? We can share some of them. So one of the first ones is, who are your favorite characters to write from the Gravity and Freefall duet? Which I think you kind of have answered that, but if you want to touch on that a little more.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody knows, or at least who knows me knows that Nash is my favorite. He's my favorite character, even though he was the most difficult. I think that was when I learned, that getting to spend multiple books with a character is actually really fun because you get to know them. And I am like such a sucker for redemption story. I love redemption stories. So I had never planned to write Freefall. I just thought that like, sorry, Nash, fuck you, goodbye. Like,
Yeah.
But his just story needed to be told. So yeah, he's definitely my favorite for sure.
Yeah, I even liked him enough in Gravity for it to be enough for me, but I think that his redemption was perfect for him. I think that it suited his, I don't know, the persona that you got from him through Gravity. I think it was perfect for him. I love him and Alistair. If she could have both of them, I'd be like, girl, let's go.
I know that is the thing I get the most is like, why couldn't she just have both? And I'm like, I know.
No, but
I
that's
get
a
it.
little weird. But like, yeah.
Yeah. We
I
don't
get that.
quite actually do MFM in that scenario.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the next ones is, where does your character inspiration come from?
Honestly, that is so hard to like. They just sort of appear. I think sometimes I do base characters off of if I see like a picture or a like just something that inspires me. I kind of made this sort of joke before, but like I love character archetypes, and so I'm a big Marvel fan, and so I will pull character archetypes from something like Marvel, where you have the rich billionaire, the brooding rich billionaire, or the America's golden boy, or things like that, and sort of and go with that and just take that base, that foundation for a character, and build a story around them. But some characters like Garrett come from really personal experiences and things like that. So it's sort of all over the place, I guess.
Yeah. That's got to be hard to write at sometimes too. Like if you're speaking from a personal standpoint, that's got to be really difficult to articulate.
Difficult, but I think rewarding. Difficult but healing, or like it might be hard in the moment, but it's so nice, getting some of that stuff out or working through. Like, I mean, Garrett, we talk about a lot, for example, deals with manic depression. And so that's something that I've dealt with. That's something that a lot of people have come forward and told me. And so just things like that, comes from personal experience or just something I'm a people watcher too. I think we're all people watchers. So sort of getting from there too.
Yeah. Okay, let's see another one. I have a lot here. Sorry. It says, what do you envision life looking like for Sara and Alistair after Gravity?
Oh, so obviously you get to see them a little bit in Freefall, and I don't want to give anything away, but
are you writing another book?
For the Wild Boys? Yes. Yes. I don't know if it'll be a novella. I don't know if it'll be a full length. I don't know. I do feel like Nash, Ellis, and Hannah have a little bit more story left than Alistair and Sara. I mean, he retires, they get married. I mean, it's kind of just not a whole lot of story left. But yeah, I don't want to. If they haven't read Freefall, I feel like I don't want to give away. But I'm trying to remember. It's been so long, so I try to remember. I'm like, wait, did that happen in Gravity, or did that?
I feel like some people don't even know about Freefall. I mean, it wasn't
That's
months
true.
until after I read Gravity that I knew Nash had a book.
That's true.
Yeah.
Really
Like I just got the audiobooks in a sale that Audible just had, so I'm pretty excited. The more books that end up in audio, the better for me.
Oh, I love audio. I'm so passionate for audio, and I do all my books are in audio, but Free Fall is still in production and should be out really, really soon. But based on the characters, it was hard. It was really hard to find narrators' schedules to do those characters justice. So, but it's happening, and I think they're about done. So hopefully it'll be out soon.
Yeah.
Do you pick the narrator then for every one of your books?
For the most part, yes, I do cast, or at least I work with a production company, and I'm very hands-on with my audiobooks. So I like to at least have a choice. But yeah, I usually do cast my own audio.
That is so important. I'm glad to hear that. Sometimes when you give it to a production company, you don't really get a choice. So I'm glad that you did, because I recently just had a book that I love the book. And so I was like, oh, I want to reread it on audio. And I listened to the first line and I was like, I can't do it. This is the
I
character.
can imagine that's really hard. Like if you
So
read it
painful.
first, because you have like their voice in your
Yeah.
head, and then you try to listen, and you're like, "That's not them." Like I don't know what that is. So
Yeah.
I can imagine going in that direction would be hard.
Yeah. I mean, and who's to say, like, if I'd listened to the audio only, maybe they work just fine. Because there's other people who are like, oh, this audio was so great. And I was like, well, I read the book and that person sounds so
My
wrong.
narration is better. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, but I'm very excited to listen to the audio for Praise. I'm going to reread that.
I hope you like it.
I mean,
Can't be bad.
I'm ready for it.
I like it.
I like
Okay,
that you
let's
have a
see.
hand in it because I loved the voice for was it Handsome Devil? His British accent.
That was the only one that I did not because that is.
I loved it.
They picked an amazing cast because that was through the Cocky Hero Club, and so they do that all. And I didn't have any but I mean, come on, that like Will Watt and CJ Bloom, I believe. But oh my gosh, his voice, like I can't even get over it. It's so good.
Eargasms and butter. I was like, this is luscious.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
Oh, too. Okay, let's see. Another question is, which of your books do you wish got more attention and why?
Yeah, tell us where to start.
I'm gonna say Beautiful Sinner.
Yes.
Is often one of the ones that I will say for that question is it's a priest romance. It takes place in Ireland, which is just one of my favorite places, based on places that I visited and went to. And I love priest romance. I don't know if it's like my religious trauma talking or what. I love, because there's something so forbidden and yet like just sexy about it. And so I had a lot of fun writing that one.
Oh, yeah. When you get a man to break his vows to God, that is hot. Okay. It is.
Yeah.
It is. They have to be done well and not to make the priest a creepy person for doing that. Like that's kind of the line you're dealing with is we have to feel the passion is so great that they don't have a choice. That's what I'm saying.
And he was trying real hard. He was trying real
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
So good.
Plus the parallels I feel like between like religion and sex. There's just a lot of like really powerful imagery there that I love. So it was a fun one to write. And I do wish that one got more love.
Yeah, because I think like Cadence in Sunny's book was very easy to not like. You know what I mean? Like her
Another
personality was
redemption,
just very
for sure.
strong. Yeah. So, and I liked that she got her own story, and you really could see who she was as a person and like what she thrived off of, because it was definitely not living at home with her mom. You know, so I don't know. I really liked the new dynamic we got to see her in.
When people would ask, you know, what character, or when I would ask what character people would relate with the most, like as women, and Cadence was always number one, because she was always looking for love in like the wrong places and meant well but kept messing up, and like, so yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. This is a good one. What's next after the Salacious Players Club? What's your next plan? I feel like I got like 10 questions of this question. So
honestly, I wish I had an answer for that. I don't know. And I think about it a lot. I will say that there are going to be more than 4 books.
Yes, I was going to ask that.
I could not end this.
I was like, I need more.
With 4. How do you move on? Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then to go through all this time, like building the club and putting all this into it, like, and all these side characters, like everybody wants Eden and everybody wants Ronan and everybody, you know. So I'm like, I'm not just gonna end it there. So there will be more. As far as what else I do, I'm kind of up in the air. I've played around with the idea of doing something that's not age gap, which this sort of kind of flops for me. The idea flops usually. Yeah. Because that's just my jam. But
do you have an idea of other like subgenres you'd be interested in doing? Where has that ever interested you? Do you want to try, or would you want to try? Not like
sort of like, you mean like fantasy or PNR? And
or
sort of. I could see myself doing something maybe like mafia or
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
I mean, that's pull my hair. I mean, come on, let's go.
I did do the co-write with Rachel Lee, which was 4 and 5, which was kind of mafia adjacent, and learned that like mafia is like, it's like world building fantasy. There is so much plot and things to keep up. I don't know if I can do.
There's a lot of steps to that.
There's a lot. So, but I do love mafia. And other than that, I don't really ever see myself doing fantasy or PNR. I'm just kind of not how my creative brain works. I do love MM. I could see myself going in an MM direction. But yeah, I wish I had a better answer for that.
No, that's a good answer. Nope. I mean, I think that saying no, I'm comfy where I'm at is a perfect answer. I always wonder, because there's some, I always love when authors who write very good connection and like steam and like feel very grounded in romance write fantasy, because I feel like they don't lose the romance when they dive into it. I love fantasy. It's my first love. But so often when I'm getting a fantasy romance, the romance will get lost for parts of it because they're like, oh, I got a world build. But I love when a romance author does it. But you don't have to want to write fantasy. I was just asking.
I wanted to ask you about the duet reverse harem. What was that process like co-writing with somebody? Did it change at all for you?
Yes. So Rachel and I, first of all, we're just really good friends. I feel like everybody probably knows that, you know, where she goes, I go sort of thing. And so that was really 100% just a passion project for us. We picked up the cover and we're like, hey, you want to write this like reverse harem story with me? And I was like, well, can there be like a daddy in it? She was like, yeah. And you know, she writes mainly high school, college age characters, and I write mainly age gap. So it was like a father and his sons, like, okay, like perfect. And so it was sort of easy when we just take turns writing, and I think we both have very similar voices anyway, so there was never really a major like you could tell where she was writing or when I was writing or whatever. But yeah, it was 100% just for fun, and then it ended up just turning out pretty awesome, I think. So we did another one. And everybody wants to know more.
Family.
Yeah. Here maybe 6. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so another question is, does your family read your books? And if so, what do they think?
No. No. Obviously, they all know about my books. I'm in my office. There's my books everywhere. But there's like a strict rule of like, you can read them. Like, you do whatever you want. But like, do not talk to me about any of it. Like, I don't want to know if you do.
Don't tell me about it.
Yeah, don't tell me. Don't tell me and don't ask me any questions. Like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Hard pass.
Imagine your grandma calling you like, what's a butt plug? Oh, God, honey, you're not supposed to know that.
What does BDSM stand for? No.
Oh, that's
That
funny.
like Sarah J. Maas's grandma, who's like 90, reads all of her books and will be like, that Reese, he's the real spicy one. And I'm just always like, ooh, that would ruin it for me the next time I tried to write. My grandma was gonna be
a little.
Oh my
Anyway.
gosh. That's funny stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I have a couple more. Hold on. Do you guys have any other questions for her too? I have like 2 more from viewers.
Nice.
Let's see. So
Anyone?
this is someone who is an aspiring writer. They said, what was your journey like to the end of your first book?
Oh yeah. That's a great question. What was your first book, by the way? I don't know that answer.
So my first book, my first romance book was Delicate, which came out in November of 2019, which took like a whole year to write. So I wrote a lot before I started writing romance, and it was a long journey here, long road of like a lot of missteps and not the right place for me. And then once I started writing romance, it, still trying to find my feet a little bit. Like I wrote, the first series that I wrote is the Wicked Heart series, and it has Delicate, Dangerous, and Defiant, which are, just basic contemporary light MC. I was like, am I an MC writer? Like I did not know where I was at all. And happened to read Credence by Penelope
Douglas.
Which I started out as a reader. I was a huge reader for a long time, and read that book, and I was like, oh man, like why didn't she pick the uncle? Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. But like, oh my goodness. So
I think we've all read it. So
Yeah, it's 2.5 years. They're fine.
But
They're fine.
definitely like was like, am I into this? That sound like, am I into this?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Yes, I am. And that's when I wrote Beautiful Monster, which was my first age gap, and I was like, yep, this is it. Like, then everything from there just sort of flowed, and I so just write the wrong stuff for a while until you find the right stuff, I guess. So.
Yeah, I love that you brought up Credence, because what I wanted to ask was what are your favorite books lately by other authors? What have you loved recently? Who are your faves? Because if you're a reader, I love hearing what inspires other people.
Yes. I read less and less now that I'm writing so much. But like I said, I do love Taboo. Like I love Carrie and Cole and QB Tyler, like just the queen.
I love QB.
And Kay Webster. I recently read Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman, which
is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Floored me. And I do Penelope Douglas, and I love Taboo and age gap romance, and so it's sometimes when I'm in the writing zone, I try not to read too much in my trope or genre because like wires get mixed, and so you try to separate it. So like right now, I'm trying to read like not full fantasy, but like I read Pestilence.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
By Laura
Salicious.
Thank you. And so I'm gonna like not read the normal, but that was brilliant. Wonderful. I love that. So
yeah,
And I'm the slowest reader ever. Like it takes me like a month. I wish I could read a book in a day like everybody. I'm the slowest, but that's okay. At least I'm still reading.
That's okay. That's the great trade-off of wonderful authors is that you have to give up reading so we can have your books. I always feel bad, but not really. Like,
yeah, we don't feel bad.
I think that's interesting though, because like JT Geisinger, I was able to speak with her a couple months back, and she like doesn't read in romance like at all. So like all of her recs for us were like just so outside of it, and I was like, "You write some of the hottest fucking romance I've ever read," and she's like, "Yeah, I don't read it."
I don't read very spicy romance very often. Like I actually kind of like less spice in my when I'm reading, which I don't understand why that is. Like, but then I get to writing, and I'm
so you don't hold back in your books. So
I was gonna say, let's reiterate on that. Let's reiterate where the spice comes from because I want to know.
Me too. How do you go about writing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And no. And I want to know more about how you conceived of this series too. And like where you're like, oh, these are the kinks I'd like to have in it. Like that's fascinating to me, and not to make it. I mean, we'll make it goofy because
no, it's fascinating.
I know this, but like I love to know this stuff.
Okay. What am I starting with? Okay, so
How you came up with it. Tell us how you came up with it.
So the series, how did I come up with the series? I took a little writing break last year and decided that I was, gonna do something big this year. And
That you did.
Yeah. I was working really closely with my publicist, who's really like, almost like my manager. She helps me come up with everything, and I bounce ideas off of her. And I'm like, what about like, something, because praise kink was so popular. Everybody was talking about praise kink over TikTok and everything. And I'm like, man, I want to write like a whole book about it. I'm like, and then what if I write a book about voyeurism? And then what if I write a book about whatever, and just sort of went from there. I don't want to give away all.
You stopped yourself.
You didn't say what those were.
But and then it became, well, what if it's a club? And and so just sort of going from there. And I just love the idea that like each book explores, and I'm exploring them too. I have to do all the research.
Right.
Research. And I think it's just mostly what I wanted to convey with this series and with these books is just the empowerment and being comfortable, being able to explore those things, and it's not taboo, and it's not dirty, and it's not wrong to want to know these things, and especially for women. And like that's a soapbox I won't get into right now, but I think especially for women, just being able to write a series that I think glorifies being comfortable in your own skin and being comfortable with your own sexuality.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very celebrated.
Yeah. And it's not in a man's world. That's the thing. It's not, we're not in a man's world. Salicious Players Club is not a man's club, so.
And when you were writing it, did you think like, this is it? Like, this is going to be such a hit. Everyone's going to love it. Because I read it like 2 weeks ago. It's already gotten 2,000 more ratings on Goodreads. It is just like continuously like climbing, and people are loving it.
Honestly, no. I'm like, this is too taboo, which I mean, I know that like we've read stuff way more taboo, but like I still have to think about the general audience. And, for some people, ex-boyfriend's dad is like, whoa, that's way too taboo. I thought it was too kinky. I thought, no way, this. BDSM doesn't tend to do, that. It's not usually that popular in the charts just because it kind of gets niched.
Right.
And so I was just like, well, it's going to be fun anyway, And so no, I had no idea that everybody's apparently very secretly kinky.
Oh yeah. Well, again, like you started with the right one, because like the recommendations that are for like books where it says good girl in it, everyone's going bananas. But like people are always asking me for those recs all the time. And when, like I said, I was reading the arc of this and I was like, and I hope people appreciate how great this is, because for me, I enjoy reading BDSM books, but two things always happen. They're either too dark and dungeony and leather chaps and like too extreme, or they're too unsafe. Like they're either one or the other. They're either like, we're a BDSM club, but there isn't any like guards there and there isn't any interview, and it just feels or it's like completely out of it and it's like this person being taught about it and there's no one to like look out for them. It's just whoever the dom is like teaching it to them, and I just like cringe about it because I'm like, this is not safe, so then it's not sexy and it's just gross. And this is just like, it's a perfect mix of, we're still going over like what the safety concerns are and like
consensual and
but it's also with like a praise king as the first, so it's not, we didn't go straight to like really uncomfortable positions. It's like, do you like it when he calls you good girl? You do. Okay, let's add a little more into it. You know? I've read a lot of BDSM and I've read a lot of bad ones. So when you read one that's good, it's just like, I can recommend this to everybody and I don't have to give qualifiers. Because that's what I always have to do. I'll be like, I really love BDSM, but this isn't safe. So just remember that when you read it. Even though we're all adults, we still got to tell people that.
So I have to give a plug though, that one of the best BDSM like series that I've ever read, which I think I learned a lot from and was really inspired by, is a serial of BDSM by RJ Murray called His Boy Next Door. Like, if you want consensual, safe but sexy BDSM, I'm telling you, like, that is some good stuff right there. Perfect.
Love it. Say it again.
I'll look it up.
Yes, I'm like,
they're serials.
I thought like Tiffany was about to pull it off her shelf. I was like, what do you have there?
Yeah, I was like, what are you reaching for, Tiffany?
I was like, write this down. It's called His Boy Next Door.
Okay.
And it's age gap, and so that's nice too.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's good. And it just like every little episode goes through like, you know, kind of the same thing, another facet of it. It's brilliant. She's brilliant.
Love it.
And what's your process like for writing? Like, do you hit like a word limit? Like, what do you plot?
I am a heavy plotter. I plot.
Okay.
I have to plot. And I usually will write the first draft in about 6 weeks. I have a team of beta readers who will like read it hot off the press. And yeah, I'm a big plotter. And I don't write every day though. So sometimes, you know, some days are just business days. But yeah, I have to have a good plot. If I don't have a plot, I'm lost. It's a mess. Nobody knows where this is going. So
I like that.
Yeah.
So when you're like trying to figure out the different, like, even just like simple personality traits of each character, do you level them out like a little diagram and like list things to that extent, or do you kind of just come up with it as you write? Because I feel like that's just such minor details, like small details that you don't think about when.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to know them like in and out, I think. So I do like character sheets, right? And so like their physical appearance, but then you know, their flaws and their wound, right? What messed them up in the past, and what they want and what they, you know. And so then from there, and then I add in little quirky characterisms, like she works in a roller skate place, or she's obsessed with anime, or whatever it is, you know. So kind of go from there. But yeah, that's the fun part. Like that is the best part of the whole process, is coming up with the story and then getting to build the characters. That's the best part. I don't care what anybody says. That's when you get to listen.
When you were in high school, or college, or when you were in high school or college, or whatever you did you write then, or was it just something that was? I know you said you were more of a reader before, but did you have, you know, any aspirations to write at all ever before?
Yeah, for sure. I was big into theater when I was in high school, and so I actually wrote some of the plays that we did, and then I almost went to film school. I actually went and like thought that I wanted to be a screenwriter and a filmmaker, and like that was my, lot in life, and life kind of got in the way, and so that didn't happen. And then here kind of led here, and so I never stopped writing. I always wanted to be a writer.
Nice.
If you had told me though, like 10 to 20 years ago, like you're gonna be like a romance writer, I'd been like, what? I never saw that coming.
That's
And
how
then
it works.
yeah. So
Let's see. Does anybody have any questions in the comments that you want to ask? I have a lot of. You wrote BDSM perfectly.
Oh,
I'm glad to. I love to hear that because it was very scary, and I like for one of my my friends, I'm like, I'm so scared. What if I do it wrong? Or what if I mess something up? You don't want to lead people down the wrong path, and
what was the
Well, I
research
just
like
loved
for that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
a lot of internet research. And like I said, I read a lot of really good BDSM, and like that series that I mentioned, where I felt like they did it right, where you could mix the consent with the sexy and make consent sexy, and things like that. And really, Praise is the only one that has the BDSM, I would say. There's not a whole lot in Eyes on Me. There's some like rope bondage and shibari and Give Me More.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm sorry. Are you kidding me? Oh, I'm so excited.
little nuggets of goodies. Yeah, and I won't say anything about Mercy yet because that's still like too early. But there's some in there too. There's a good amount in there. It's probably just as much in Mercy as was in Praise, but different.
Well, there's so many different. I mean, BDSM encompasses
Oh yeah,
so
tons.
much, and I think that's why I love about it so much too. Just when little parts of that can like pop up in like other authors do, where it's like it doesn't have to be at the sex club where everything's happening. There's so many parts of BDSM that I think should be included in everybody's sex lives because it would make things a lot safer and better for everybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be kinky to.
For sure.
My husband loves that I read romance. He's like, where did you learn this? And I'm like, the book that I just read, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of my like absolutely favorite things to read in a quote unquote normal book that's happening is like aftercare to any kind of intense sexual experience should exist. Oh my God. And when I read that in like just a contemporary, like, and again, I'm saying just, but you know what I mean? Like a book that isn't marketing itself as that. And there's like checking in and like aftercare after something. I'm like,
I'm so hot for aftercare. Like I love aftercare.
It's so sexy.
Oh my God. If that's the only thing that goes into it, like, that's what I want.
For the communication, like that checklist, like what are you into? You have to ask, and it's just so sexy to have someone ask and then have to like have the character have to say it. Like checking in with yourself. What am I into? What do I like? Like, oh, I just
anybody, well, everybody like has an endorphin dump after, like everybody has a like low after you have an endorphin high. Like it's not just relegated to like subspace or like
that's true.
Or like dom space never gets talked about. Like authors who talk about that, I'm like, please talk about that because that could be very intense for a dominant to think like, oh, did I hurt someone? I just read that in Juliet Cross's book that isn't out yet. There's one where like the person in charge is like panicking that they hurt someone, and the sub is so like spaced out that she can't like be supportive back and be like, you did great, I'm happy, because they're like, oh my God, I hurt this person, she's not responding, and it's like, yeah, it's because you fucked her brains out. Give her. Anyway, sorry. They knew reassurance too.
For sure, that's a good point.
I loved that about Emerson too. He was just so sensitive, and like even the way he cared about Garrett when Garrett was hurting and having like the episode at his house. That was like one of my favorite scenes because it was just like, oh, there he is. Like that's him. That's my Emerson. Like
What is he doing? Fucking dishes for him. I was like, I'm done.
I know.
Anyway, I love that shit.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Okay, so here's another question.
Okay.
Will Eyes on Me be an audiobook soon?
Yes, it is. I like literally just got to hear the first little sample they send me, like a 15-minute sample. I'm like crying.
Oh.
I'm like, oh my god, it's so good.
And the narrators.
So the narrators are Jeffrey Kafer and Heather Costa. Heather Costa used to do a lot of YA. And I'm like emailing him and I'm like, all right, you guys are good with all the spice, right? And he was like, yeah, promise, we're good. Fun story is that they're actually a couple. They're engaged. So
oh, that's cool.
Oh, I love that.
That's my favorite.
And they just sound perfect. Like they just sound perfect. And so he has the perfect amount of like snark for Garrett.
Yeah.
And they should be finishing up. Once they do that, I'm guessing this month, if not early next month. So I don't get dates. It kind of is just a messy process to try to schedule an audiobook release, but we try to do it as fast as we can, but we got to work on schedules and stuff.
Yeah.
So are you going to add more merch to your store as more books come out? Because your Eyes on Me merch, did you see the coffee cup with the kitty? Amazing. I'm like, I need this.
Yes, I love making merch. That's like my favorite thing. And making merch for that book was a lot of fun. And I haven't officially it's obviously on my website, but I'm making the announcement this weekend that it's there so they can kind of go crazy. But yeah, it's I will always make merch for all of my books. It's so fun. I love merch. Who doesn't, right?
Okay, how many books will be in this series?
I would love
the limit does not exist.
The limit does not exist. I would love to just keep adding in at least one SPC book a year. We've talked about possibility of spin-offs. We've talked about kinds of fun stuff to do. So we're putting in the groundwork. And I mean, I don't foresee it ever being as long as I'm writing, I'll just keep adding books to it. Characters
are what I want to hear.
You can do like Maggie Cole did and have be like Salicious Players Club Dallas or something. It's open to other locations. That was Mafia Wars New York. There could be like Salicious Players Club. I forgot where this is located. If it's in a real place or if it's in
Japan. Going to the origins of Shibari. I would love it.
Oh, geez. That'd be fun. Salicious Players Club London or something. Oh yeah, let's do it.
These characters totally have the potential to
yeah, they make so much money for how hot that it is that they can open another location now.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there's another one. What are some of your favorite tropes to write and or read?
Obviously age gap. I'm a sucker for age gap. Anything forbidden or taboo. And I love writing MMF. It's so fun. And I say this a lot, but Eyes on Me was a really hard book to write. Give me more just spilled out of me so seamlessly. It was so easy.
So fucking excited.
So fun. These three are just, there's one of them who's a pain in my ass. The other ones are great. And yeah, it's just fun. And it's a road trip. They're on a road trip. And I love road trip romance.
Yes.
So just that being confined in a small space and you're off to new places. And it kind of just keeps the story moving literally and figuratively. So yeah.
I'm so excited.
I know.
Is there a trope though you haven't written yet that you want to?
That I haven't written that I want to. I'm tempted to write a captive or an arranged marriage situation. But yeah,
That'd be perfect
Well,
for a
there's your
mafia
mafia
romance.
plots.
Yeah.
Let's make it mafia.
Jess is over here.
I know, excited. Yeah. Mafia.
we all said that at the same time. Yeah.
Yep. We just had the mafia readathon, so
Yeah.
we're like extra primed. That's my fave, but
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Maybe this is your sign.
Do some mafia. Got it.
Yeah. Although, like, there's other. I mean, I think that kind of like not Eyes on Me, not Eyes on Me. Burn for Me has an aspect of like blackmailing is a kind of like you're held captive by. She can't really get away from him to a certain degree in that book. So like you know, there's ways to do it where it's not a mafia thing.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, but she liked it in that book, so she wasn't. Like,
she did not put it very much.
The captive hopefully will like it too. Like if you otherwise you're not like.
That was me reading that. I was like, is it coercion if she likes it? That's what tripped Colin up.
Because she wouldn't have fucked him if he hadn't blackmailed her to start with. Like she gets into it pretty quickly, but she wouldn't have if he hadn't. So
staying up late on the phone, I'm like, they're gonna get caught up. I loved it.
It was so good.
Okay, so is there a trope you would be reluctant to write for whatever reason, or a kink you wouldn't write?
A lot of those.
Reluctant to write. Ooh. So for trope, I probably will never touch like military romance because my husband's in the military and that's just too close to home, not sexy. And kink, I'd be reluctant. I don't want to say reluctant, but I definitely am a little more nervous about any sort of impact play kinks, like, such as paddling and things like that. Just a lot more to it. I'll still do it. It's still coming, but that one's a little bit, a little more sensitive, I think, so I just want to be more careful.
Interesting.
But yeah, I don't think there's any other kink that I wouldn't write.
Really?
I don't know.
You'd write some pet play for us?
Oh, I don't think so. No.
I was like, I think there are some kinks you wouldn't write.
No,
I think
you found one.
The bodily functions make you wouldn't want to write. Like, I think
but you know what? Something about me is that I do love a challenge. And so the minute somebody tells me like, oh, I wouldn't want to read that or I wouldn't like that. Like I get that a lot with Gravity. Like, I don't like love triangles or with Burn for Me. I don't like
love live. Yeah.
I don't like reverse age gap. I'm like, okay, hang on. Give me a minute. Let me try. Let me, see if I can change your mind.
Because what I always say is I was like, you haven't read a good one.
Yeah.
When people say they don't like it. Because I mean, I have my preferences of my favorites, but even the ones I just said, like, there's a kink that I absolutely am like, gross, I don't want to read it. And then Pam Godwin put it in a book, and I was like, okay, that one worked. That one worked that time. But in the hands of a lesser author or someone who doesn't think about what makes it sexy, because that's something I think sometimes put it in a kink because they're like, it's kinky, so it'll be sexy. And it's like, but that's why it's a kink, is it's not sexy to everybody.
Yeah.
You have to find what makes it sexy.
Well, I mean, like, for those who've read Eyes on Me, there was a scene at the end, right? That everybody talks about. That if you that I, there's a moment where I got the idea and I was like, oh no, they won't like that. Like that's
oh my God.
You don't see that very often.
That
That's
was the best part.
Exactly. And so it's like, and then I go, oh, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. Absolutely going to do it. And so, I'm resistant to say like, oh, I will never do that. Cause the minute I go, I'm going to try it, I'll do it. I love a challenge.
Well, I guarantee you that there's some people who read that who think that they wouldn't like to read that. And now they're like, oh, wow, I was okay with it. Because for me, it's building up to it. And I'm like, yes, this has to happen. This has to happen in this scene. And I saw people being like, well, that's weird. And I was like, were you not reading the same book I was reading? Because it made sense. Anyway, good writing to me. But
I swear I was foaming at the mouth. I messaged him like, did you get there yet? Did you get there yet? This is
He had it
amazing.
coming, right? He had it coming.
Yep, he did. He definitely did.
But yeah.
But the way you did it. I know, Jess, you still have to read Eyes on Me, right? You haven't read it yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See?
Now I'm excited.
She just
Figure out what it
read
is.
4. Well, you're in the middle of 4.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of 4. Mm-hmm.
Rachel did it. Whatever you're reading right now, just blame her.
Rachel did it.
Oh, yeah.
funny.
Nice.
It's good stuff.
Okay, does anybody have any more comments or questions in the comments? Let's see.
Hashtag booty scene. I love it.
Yeah.
I know. Hey, so do you have a say in your models and on the covers too? Because the cover of Gravity,
It's gorgeous.
I just think it is so beautiful. Tiff, do you have it on you?
Yeah.
It's right there. Yeah. Oh gosh,
It's
I
gorgeous.
love it so much.
Let's stop it.
Yeah, I do
She
all
gifted me
my
this
own
book.
covers. Well, I pick all my own models for the covers. Sometimes I do my own covers. Gravity and the Salicious Players Club series I did myself. Burn for Me I did myself. Yeah.
You designed those yourself?
I did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm trying to
The
think of
That's very
Salicious
impressive.
Club are so gorgeous. Like
Mhm.
that's a big part too. Is like that's grabbing people in the Kindle store. I guarantee you because
Yeah. And I get asked a
Well, they're
lot, are we
classy.
going to get the discrete covers? And I'm going to do them, but I just want to wait for the whole series to come out.
No.
Yeah.
These are perfect.
Yeah, we're like,
the way they
These
are.
aren't indiscreet. You're literally wearing a fucking suit. How is it indiscreet?
I mean,
and it's the suit. That's why I love
No,
to hear
Eyes
that
on
you
Me.
did them.
Eyes on me.
Yeah.
He's literally wearing a full suit.
yeah.
He's wearing a whole
He could be
suit.
a lawyer. He's a lawyer. It's a lawyer. There we go. Like
He's a lawyer.
there we go. I do actually want the discreet cover of Burn for Me. I keep waiting for that.
That one does. Yeah, there is a discreet
That
cover.
is really beautiful. But I mean,
I just got the last chapter box. I ordered that, so I'm excited to see your addition to it. I know you mentioned a while ago you were like, "Oh, I think I'm having a limited edition of one of my books come out," but that was before they announced that you were one of the authors in the book.
I can't say anything.
I know.
I can't say anything.
I'm so excited.
Except that I've seen it. I've seen it, and it's amazing. I did not design that, but
yeah.
I did.
I literally need another bank account just for all the special editions of
know.
shit coming out. Like I don't need another Bridgerton set, but
I'm buying those. I've already decided I'm gonna buy
I
those.
like the new ones more than I do for the whatever it's called. And there's what's the other book box there's going to be coming to first, and I'm just like, I don't have enough money. Oh, the Filthy Elites Mystic Box is going to do that, and I'm like, that's going to bankrupt me. But I want them all because I'm a book collector, so I need it.
I did like the alternate cover of 4 a lot. That was really cool with like the objects.
Cool.
I like that one.
Yeah, I did not do that one. That one is 4 and 5 are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Are you doing anything more in the Spitfire? Like I know there's the anthology Bully God, and we got the little spinoff. Are we getting more?
I don't, maybe. I think so the novella will come out this summer, so it'll be available on its own. I don't plan on expanding that novella because I just really love it the way it is, and it was really nice one. But I will keep that series open because I think if I ever get the itch to write any more like bully or enemy kind of angst, it would probably be in that series. But yeah, I get that question kind of a lot. So I like to imagine that all of my books like exist within the same universe. And that if I ever wanted to write a certain trope, I just kind of go to that series. Like if I wanted to write more of that kind of bully dub con stuff, it would be in that series. So we'll see.
Okay, so that kind of is following this question. Are there any series overlapping? Would you ever write different series that take place in the same world?
Yeah, I really, so we're kind of working on that right now, kind of making it, all, not overlapping, but like I'll just say, like, the idea of writing a scene with, say, like, Alistair and Zara in the Salacious Players Club
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah.
would be really fun.
Oh yeah. When you build a sex club, it's the perfect opportunity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like,
I
it's
could see every single one of my couples, like,
oh
going
yeah.
there. So
My name is Cheyenne, and I would like a membership. You
Right.
can tell me where I sign up, and I'll be there. And
Yep.
me
just
too.
as long as Alistair's there, I'm there.
Make us some membership merch, please, for the Salacious Players Club. That would
That
be
is
so
a
fun.
brilliant idea. I love that idea. I never thought of that. Little membership cards.
Mhm.
That's so smart. All right, I'll do that, and I'm gonna credit you, Tiffany.
Well, or you could make them like the book plates or something that say like your membership, and then stamped by you or whatever.
Guys, that's so
I'll
smart.
take some candles.
You can keep it. I hold no responsibility for that idea. It is now yours. There you go.
That is brilliant. I love it. Thank you.
Yep. I would add that into all my books.
I love that.
You need to do like a quote from one of your books. Like, have you seen those bookmarks that say "spread your pages"?
Oh
I think
yeah.
Sam have you seen those? They're
Sam, yeah.
so cute.
Yeah, I like
That
it.
would be funny.
Well, there was okay, this was a YA author that I went to, but I feel like it works for this actually. When Marissa Meyer, like, I went to a book signing for one of her Lunar Chronicles, and she would stamp it "Welcome to the Revolution," and then she would sign it. So she had literally had this like big stamp that her assistant would stamp it and pass it over for her to sign it for you.
Oh, that's fun.
And, like, that could be cool. Like, welcome
Welcome to the Salacious Players Club.
and then it'd be great. Have that for when you go. Seriously, when you go to like
Write
book
it down.
trips, you just get a made and then stamp
Oh
everything.
my gosh, that's so smart.
Yeah,
That's so
it's fun.
cool. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'll look that up.
yeah. There, I think like people on Etsy can make those, or they
Mhm.
make custom made
Personalized
stamps or
stamps.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
So fun.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
more things to. Oh,
And do you
anyway.
have a- Yeah.
Nice.
From me?
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Well, I will pimp Rachel Lee out again because she just had a new book come out yesterday. That is like all over TikTok right now because it's one of those heart wrenchers that has everybody crying on social media.
Yay.
Which I'm like, yeah, that's fun. Do that. So that is called All the Little Things. Did I get that right? Oh my god, if I mess that up, I feel like an asshole. By Rachel Lee. And yeah, it's brilliant. Beautiful.
Oh yeah, I've seen that cover around
It's
a lot.
the best cover. So yeah, that's such a cool cover. It's actually the same person who did the cover for 4 and 5. So like clearly a magician with crazy good talent. So
That is a crazy high rating on Goodreads. Oh my gosh. It's 4.79 on Goodreads. That is crazy.
that's yeah, because it's amazing.
For how many reviews?
186. Oh, 162. Yeah.
Nice.
That's so
Good
high.
start.
Okay, let's see. Here's another one.
And I love that his boy next door is all on KU. I'm about to devour this series.
You'll have to
I'm
let me
so
know if
excited.
you like it. I that's just one of my comfort reads. She just puts out a new one every couple of months or whatever, and it's like low conflict. Like there's no angst. It's just sexy and fun to read. I love it. Would
Oh, I'm
you write?
excited.
Okay, would you write a character with a disability?
I would never not write a character with a disability. Yeah, of course. There's definitely, I mean, sure. Curious as to what disability, but I mean, I'm all for diverse characters, and yeah, it would probably just take some more time, more research and things like that, and finding sensitivity readers to make sure I do it right. But yeah, for sure.
I think that's
100%.
great.
One of my favorite parts of Praise, I know it's not disability, but the main character's sister and that whole storyline was one of my absolute favorites. I really like that.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love Sophie. She's just, and I had a couple of sensitivity readers for her, and I get a lot of comments about her and a lot of questions if she's going to get her own book. And I'm like, I don't know. We'll see.
That's what one of my friends had asked me. I was like, I didn't even think of that, but I wouldn't be opposed.
No, neither would I. And it would be obviously farther down the road. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about like kids, minors growing up and like getting their own book. Cause I'm like, you knew them as a child. I don't know. That's weird. But she's definitely one of those characters. Like you're going to see her again. She's coming back in another book in the series. But yeah, she was fun. I love her. She was great.
Okay, Sansa. I think she's talking about the Rachel Lee book.
Oh yeah.
Nightclub, stamp your head door.
That is so great.
Yes.
See, this is why you keep us around.
Yeah.
Well, Eden get her own story. It feels like she's got a lot to tell.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure she.
Yeah.
I'll just say yes. I don't know what it'll be, but
she's kind of like the shit stirrer in some scenarios too, and I love that. I was like, oh, you don't really care too much, do you? Oh, let me see how you feel now.
Okay.
yeah.
And then they freak out why she would need it.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. Yes, you're like, oh God, she's.
No.
But everything
You're not
forward.
safe. You're not safe with Eden.
I love everything Eden represents. So.
Oh yeah, she's great.
For sure. I don't know what or when, but I can't imagine that I wouldn't. So.
She's such the elixir because they're always like high strung, upset, and then they just calm down.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Love it.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Would you ever write? Oh yeah.
Please do.
Absolutely. So Hannah from Free Fall was a POC character, which was one of the reasons finding the narrator was unfairly hard. But yeah, absolutely. There's actually one in Give Me More that she's not one of the main characters, but I have a feeling she'll be back. I just kind of like whenever, I'm writing this series and then I'm like, oh, I like her. I'm like, she'll be back. Like, I like her.
Well, and it's always fun, like when you drop someone in and then if all of the like the readers are like, what's this person? You're like, good. That's the reaction I wanted you to have.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Let's see.
Yeah. Lizelle has cerebral palsy.
Oh.
She has her own channel actually too.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. She does.
Well, I'm gonna have to give her a follow.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't looked out this, but I've only read one series that had that, and it was a YA series. The main heroine has cerebral palsy, which is very interesting.
Is that A Curse of Dark and Lonely?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. A good one. Yeah.
Good to know.
What's been your favorite series to write?
Probably this one. Probably the Salicious Players Club. Even though it feels like it's really fast. It's just the research, I think, and the world building has been really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you come up with that? Like your publishing schedule, like being indie, like what's that process like? Did you ever make the decision that I'm going to go traditionally or indie? Did you always know it was going to be indie? And then like, what has that process been like? Like scheduling and dealing with Amazon and all of that kind of stuff.
I did it. A few years back, I tried to go traditional and it didn't work out. And so I tried going indie, and I am now like it's a whole business, right? It's a whole career and a whole business. And I love it. And I'm like very confident, like this is exactly where I was meant to be. This is exactly what I was meant to be doing. And I think a lot of new writers come in, you know, and they think, I want to go traditional. And so they query, and get rejected, as we all do. And sort of see indie publishing as a backup when it's actually just a really, if you've got that business mindset, like just go from the get-go. Like don't even bother, because you know I like managing my schedule, and I like deciding all this stuff. And I'm telling you, if this was, you know, traditionally published, like it wouldn't be coming out this fast, and there would be a lot of things that would have been different. So yeah, I just have a really good team, and I have you know, I like plan out my whole year. And I'm, you know, flexible because things change and you don't always stick with the plan. So yeah, being kind of a workaholic, I guess, is the answer to that. I'm being a little bit obsessed and yeah, maybe a little type A.
Books.
So
Have you been writing full time since you started writing?
no. The full time didn't happen for me until I want to say September of last year.
Oh,
Okay.
But even before that, I was, I mean, a stay-at-home mom. So, but actually carving out that time and like, this is my full-time job now, and like protecting your work time, and meaning like kids will go to day camps or daycare or whatever, you know. So being my full-time job, yeah, it was probably about September of last year. Before that, I was a teacher for a little while, but a while ago.
Oh, wow.
I'm a teacher. So
Yeah, there was a real decision there. I was like, okay, if I do this, I might not be able to go back. You know? So
I know that.
yeah, my face is out there. It might not be my real name, but I'm now associated with stuff that might not fly with schools. So that was a big decision, but it was obviously the right one. So
Yeah. Okay, so are there any specific scenes of your book that you think back on a lot? Like when she's reading a book, she thinks of the first meeting in Praise.
in my books, any
Yeah, so yeah. Do you think back on a specific scenes a lot?
yes. The helicopter scene is probably my like most popular talked about scene. So that's a good one. Fun fact, my husband is a helicopter pilot. So did not do that in helicopter, but
I was gonna say, was that a reaction?
definitely had fun picking his brain. And like he was so funny because he was like, wait, what kind of helicopter is that? Like, no, there's no room for that in there. And I was like, a little bit of room, you know? And he was like, no, there's no room for that in there. And I'm like, well,
what if it's a deluxe version?
Right. This is his fictional, you know. He was like, no. So that was fun. But what other scenes? There's a scene in 4, the waking up scene.
Oh yeah,
one of my favorites. And yeah, can't remember any others. I mean, the Praise, yeah. But you know what? For Praise, it's for me. It was the voyeur hallway scene was my favorite. It was a fun one to write, just because it was in her POV.
Yeah.
What book is the helicopter scene in?
Gravity.
Gravity. That's my favorite scene, like of all time.
Yeah, Cheyenne was like, "Did you get to this part yet?" And I was like, "Yes."
I'm sweaty when I read that. I swear to you, I sweat anyways, but I just love it. I probably shouldn't say that on live. Like, I sweat a lot. But I'm reading.
Don't we all?
Let's see.
Mr. Sara Cate. Oh gosh. Funny. No, he would probably be like, ugh, you know, like
Yeah.
he
There's
did
a very Go
he
ahead.
did a lot with, you know, the terms and, you know, well, like what's that thing and what's this thing and what makes it go, you know, and he helped with that. But otherwise he would probably read that and just be like, no, it's just not.
There's a very, very small amount of the population that will even know that that's not possible anyway. And they're probably not the people reading your books. Not that there can't be a helicopter pilot somewhere who has read it, but I think the crossover is very small.
Yeah, exactly. Who's gonna know that?
See, I think
Right.
well, this is kind of a question, but when you're writing sex scenes specifically, like to me, I feel like I would have to get in a headspace, like dim the lights, light some candles, like have something going on to set the mood to write. I mean, can you do that being at home and then like just being in the middle of broad daylight and
I'm gonna tell you, like there have been times I'm writing the dirtiest stuff, like at soccer practice in my car, or like, you know, just watching the kids play. I know that sounds terrible, but like, you know, I think back to when I first started and I had to like write like COCK, and I was like, oh my god, you know, and now just
Right.
now it comes much more naturally, but no, I don't get to like get in the mood or anything.
I know. I just think like as a reader sometimes too is, but like if I'm reading next to my husband, I'll be like, oh, can he see these words right now? Can he see what I'm reading right now? Like
I was in
looking at my book.
I was in such a deadline on Eyes on Me. I went to a signing in Boston and I was like, had to get this book to my editor like Monday morning. And I'm like, I have no time. I have to do this last part like on the plane. And so I pull out my laptop and I'm like, I'm at the end of Eyes on Me, which, you know, and I'm like, listen, if you read this over my shoulder, like,
Enjoy.
I'm sorry, but I've got to get this done. And so
to be that person sitting next to you.
They're probably like, oh my God.
I would have.
I would totally read it.
Behind you.
I would totally be reading it.
You got it for
I know.
free, you know, they have to pay for it.
Or what if they were a reader and they were like, I know this girl. Like she's writing that book.
They got an early version.
Okay, in writing books, is it harder to write the start or the ending? We'll do a couple more questions.
It's harder to write the ending. The start is usually pretty easy for me, because that's when like their voices are the loudest, and the scene sort of sets itself nicely. The end is hard because you're just tired by that point. Like I'm at the very end of Give Me More right now, and I'm just like, come on, you guys, get it together. Like just, but no, it's gonna cause a problem, and so it's just, but yeah, definitely the start is easier.
That makes sense. Okay, are there any actors you imagined for some of your characters?
Ooh, I think. So if you've read Handsome Devil, which I know somebody was talking about the audiobook, his name is literally Henry, and he's British, and he's in his like mid-30s. So it's like pretty obvious. That one was Henry Cavill, like super muse there.
Everybody's written either a Jason Momoa or a Henry Cavill in their sexy role.
Yeah.
Like, they literally have. Like, they just have. They exist in there.
I'm waiting for a Gerard Butler.
Oh yeah.
He's so sexy.
I know a lot of people say, and I don't remember, Jeffrey something. Gosh darn it.
Oh, Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Yes. For Alistair, I hear that a lot. He's got gray hair, and
he just did a photo shoot recently, and I sent it to everybody. I was like, look. Well, I've literally liked him since he was like Denny, and he was like a normal, normal age person. Yeah. He has aged up, my friends. He has only aged upwards. Like,
yeah. Like if you know who Michael Fassbender is, I see him as Father Callum in Beautiful Sinner.
Yeah,
Mr. Rochester, right?
What's that?
Fassbender? Was he Mr. Rochester and Jane Eyre?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes, that's what I know from. Okay.
Yeah. I picture Eric Dane as Daddy Emerson sometimes. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
McSteamy from
Who is it?
McSteamy from Grey's Anatomy.
Oh.
I
Oh,
picture
yeah,
him.
For sure. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Just
A little
Patrick
like
Dempsey.
gentler version of him. Just a little gentler version of him though.
Yeah. I really picture that model on the cover. Like, I don't know.
Oh,
him
yeah.
Personally.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Like the model gives me that
part.
vibe too. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, that's a real good model for him. Love it.
I love Oscar Isaac.
Oh
Okay,
my
so any more questions?
Yeah. Now we just talk about actors all night.
I know.
We could do this for hours.
Yep. Love it.
I know
Do you
you
guys have
have
any more
signings
questions?
coming up. Did you want to share what signings? Because I'm going to be at the Columbus one, so I'm very excited for that. That's like 10 minutes. away from me,
yeah,
so
6
right in my
weeks.
backyard. But what
Yeah,
other
plug
signings are you
yourself.
going to this year?
So I will be at Columbus next week, and then I have 3 in September, October. I'll be at Wanderlust, which is in San Antonio, which is the one that the photographer who did the pictures on most of my covers, him and all of his models. They'll be at that one, and yeah. And then I will be at Allure in Chicago, which is an audiobook conference. So I'll be there with all my narrators, which will be great. And then I will be at the Authors in the Bluegrass, which is in Lexington, Kentucky. All of these are on my website, along with the tickets and the pre-order links if you want to pre-order any books from me. But yeah, I've got a lot this year. I don't have any. I have Australia. I have Babe in next year, but that's next year. So yeah, I'm all on I live on the West Coast, so I'm like traveling
Far away.
Yeah. So
Nice.
Jess didn't even realize she lived like 10 minutes away from the one.
Oh my
she's
God,
gonna go
yeah.
to next week.
Was it you, Cheyenne, that told me, you're like, Sara Cate just posted she's going to be in Columbus. Are you going? I was like,
Yeah.
excuse me? There's a sign in Columbus?
Yeah.
I had no
I was
idea.
like, that's 10 minutes from my house.
that's
Literally
awesome.
10 minutes.
That never happens to me.
Yeah.
Well, you live like far away from everything.
Yeah.
I'm in Florida, like 45 minutes from Orlando, and there's never anything here.
Oh, it's Shameless, but I think this is the last year they're doing Shameless.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But Shameless is a good one, but yeah.
Nice.
I can't complain. I'm in Vegas. Everything comes here.
Are you going to Love in Las Vegas? Are you going to go to Love in Las Vegas?
I'm trying to block out the days. My boss is like, you're going on a lot of trips. Like today I was like, I'm coming in just a little bit late. He's like, there's a lot going on. Is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's great. Just don't check my channel. Don't look.
I'm trying so hard to get into that signing. I can message her hey, is there any more openings? Because I'm within driving distance of Vegas, so I can easily go to that one.
Nice.
Tip. Do you have any advice for new writers?
Oh, there's a ton of advice out. Just keep writing. Keep writing and keep reading. That's a big one. But yeah, and don't be afraid to just try out new things, even if they feel weird at first. I'll be good.
Okay. Let's see. Traveling.
I do love traveling. And like I said, I'm going to Australia next year, which is going to be really exciting. But that's about it. I lived in Germany for a while, and so that really made traveling a lot easier, which is why I went to Ireland. But yeah, I'd love to go back.
Okay, so that's all I have for comments and questions. Do you guys have any questions before we call it a night?
No, I got my tidbits that I wanted for the next of the Salicious Players Club.
I'm excited.
Okay, we got our
list. I'm
I
excited.
got Rex. I'm so
I
excited.
know. Add to that Kindle Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Amazon
well,
cart
thank
is
you
doing
everybody in the
well.
comments for watching and for joining us. And thank you, Sarah. We are so happy to have
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks for taking time to hang out with us and talk about how much we love your books.
This was so
Yeah.
fun.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us. So we will call it a night. Bye, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.